Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Here we are at standard time. I see the daylight is starting to creep in, unlike the pretend light savings time where it's pitch black at 6 in the morning. Here is Paddy's, also known as Paddy. When it first hit the market in 1927, it was called Paddy Irish whiskey. So you might find an old bottle that says Paddy, but now it's Paddy's apostrophe S. Paddy O'Flaherty, a salesman, peddled this around Ireland, and they named it after him. That was his nickname, Paddy. Old Irish whiskey, blend of grain, malt, and pot still, so triple distilled, 3 different types of whiskey. Cork, Ireland, at Middleton Distillery, established 1779. Not Paddy's, didn't start in 1779, but the distillery did. So 1927, that was during the time of the Irish Free State, when it was still attached to the British Empire. But they didn't really like that too much. All right, so the competitor is Michael Collins, one of the rebels who fought the British and was ambushed and killed in some rather odd circumstances during the Irish Civil War of 1922. But anyway, they named this after him. 1921 is when they signed the treaty with Great Britain, establishing the Free State, which went into effect in 1922, December 22. So this is a 2011 bottle. Michael Collins was introduced in 2006. It may not be made anymore. There is a Michael Collins, The Prediction, which is a different blend. But you might find new bottles of this. Who knows? Sazerac is kind of a strange company. But this was made at Cooley Distillery for the Sidney Frank Company. That company's gone because Sidney Frank himself died and the family sold off the assets to other people. So whether Sazerac kept this or not, I don't know. This is double distilled, 2 times distilled. Grain whiskey and malt whiskey. All right. No age statement, so couldn't tell you how old it is. At least 3 years. That's the minimum in what's today called the Irish Republic, or just Ireland. Yeah. Whiskey has to be aged at least 3 years in Ireland. Now, in the United States, it just has to be aged. There's no specific year. Now, this is a real cork. It's not particle board cork or rubber. It's real cork, and you can see that. And this has been on sale a lot. Still, Mathern says it for $19.99, so you can get a deal on it. $19.99. It's very pale. Doesn't look like any colorings added to it. It's from Middleton Distillery, which has its own brands. Middleton is a big distillery in Ireland, one of the oldest, although that's the new Middleton Distillery, built about 50 years ago. The old one was so decrepit, they tore it down. Max Walt says, good morning, Ron. Glad to see you. Good to see you, Max, in the Russian Federation. Herbie in India says Super Sunday. Well, we're going to do Stout Sunday, Stout and Porter Sunday, or Porter and Stout Sunday coming up first Sunday of the month. Now, then the rest of the Sunday, we plan to do Super Sunday, anything you want to bring. So I can't show you a website for, you can see Michael Collins is amber gold and the Paddy is straw. You might be able to detect the difference. It's a little darker, the Michael Collins. I can smell the sweetness already from here. Just sitting here, I can smell the fumes. Now, see, I'll give you an example. There's a Paddy's Honey Irish whiskey liqueur, honey. It's called Paddy's Honey. Shows a honeybee on it, honeycomb. I'll see that at the store, but you never see that on the Sazerac website. Well, let's look at the website for a moment. Paddy's from Cork, about the product. That's the new label. Now, you might find old labels with the different counties or regions of Ireland in different colors. The new label's got this white, gold, black, and red. Distinctive bottle. trying to find that prediction. Let's go back to whiskey. Sometimes our website can be a little clunky. All right. There's the Michael Collins you'll find today, showing it 1890. The prediction, which is a different product. Oh, I guess it's similar. It's triple distilled, but it's not the same. All right, so yeah, I don't know the answer on that. I can't tell you. Here's the Paddy's website talking about Patrick O'Flaherty. Award-winning whiskey. Yes, it has won awards, not in the last 3 years. But so there's a locator tool, but I don't think you'll have trouble finding it. It's very common. One of the top 3 or 4 Irish whiskey brands on the market, I would think. Jameson, Bushmills, Paddy's, those type of things. So and a great price, $19.99. Now you're going to pay $27.99 for Jameson, $25.99 if you find it on sale. You're paying for a name. You're really paying for a name. I don't think Jameson much better than Paddy's. Might be a little bit, not much. Bushmills, same thing. You're buying the name. That's from the British controlled Ireland, Northern Ireland. That's a whole nother argument and story. And don't ask me about it because I got no horse in the race. No concern of mine. Although you hate to see political struggles, but being a non-interventionist and adopting a neutrality position, you can understand why I would say that. Okay. I have to close my eyes because if I glance and see that slightly darker shade, I'm going to know it's the Michael Collins. Oh, Michael Collins was $23.99, so a $4 difference. Yeah, that's about right. $4. Is it going to be $4 better? I doubt it. Thing about Irish whiskeys, they tend to be about the same. You say, oh no, I bought one that was $65 ultra premium and all. Yeah, but those are not the regular. Those are the super premium. I'm talking about just regular old Irish whiskey. They tend to be very similar. Well, I guess that goes for any product, right? Regular beer, they're all about the same. Standard bourbon whiskey, that's all about the same. People go crazy over certain brands, but it's not much different than the other one in its class, or in its range. So yeah, wine, same story, I guess. But this one's very noticeably lacking aroma. Excuse me. There's nothing bad here, but there's nothing here. This aroma is fairly big, bold, and fruity, like you expect sweet fruit. So although there's no fruit in it. So I'm thinking that's the Collins just by that aspect of it. Now the Michael Collins has a wisp of peat. Is it a peaty whiskey? Not really, but it has some peat, whereas these others have none. So you'll pick that up. Now, Irish whiskey is not known for peatiness, but they have a few out there that will have it. A few, not many. All right. Sweet grain, but not super sweet. It does seem to have a touch of that compost pile peatiness. Sounds bad, doesn't it? But I don't know how else to explain it. It's medium bodied, has a semi-sweet finish, not exactly a dry finish. Let's go over here. I've never been to Ireland, but I've flown over it in a plane. I was riding in a plane, and you can see the ground coming underneath. It looked like ground. But too bad I didn't get to visit. I've been to England. Oh, twice, but on the same trip. England on the way down to Southern Europe, and then on the way back. And I did get to walk around on the way back. On the return trip, I got to walk around downtown London to go to Bond Street, see all the fancy stores decorated for Christmas and everything. All the people crowding out of the bars. I didn't go into any, but they were packed with people. I don't know if I could have fit in there. It was so crowded. Got to go see Buckingham Palace and everything like that. Typical tourist stuff. I wanted to go to the Big Ben, the big clock tower and the bridge, but it was freezing cold. Literally, it was 32 degrees, freezing, and I had a windbreaker on, and I was cold. I was like, yeah, I can tolerate this to an extent, but my feet were getting cold, and I was like, nah, I know what it looks like. I know what a clock tower looks like. Would have been nice to see it, but it was nighttime anyway. You wouldn't have seen a whole lot. But I was like, nah, I can't take it. I just skipped it. And I went through Green Park. Beautiful park. Got to ride the subway, or what they call it, the underground. And they make it very convenient now to get on there. You don't have to go buy a ticket. You just scan your credit card, and then you scan it on the way out, and it calculates how much you owe. I mean, you can buy a ticket at the ticket window, but hardly anybody does it now. You see, you just go. They call it check in and check out, something like that. Don't forget to check out. It says, don't forget to check out. So I did end up taking the expensive line, end up paying about $10 extra because I wasn't in any rush. I could have taken the slow line downtown for all of that, but forgot. But oh well, that's no tragedy. Did find some good 9%. At first I thought it was bad, not so good until I kept sipping on it. Polish beer. Oh man. All right. Did I eat any good English food? Yeah. Tuna sandwich on red cheese, which to me is pimento cheese. It looked like to me pimento, but it was good. It wasn't expensive. Okay. Anyway, enough reminiscing travelogue from a year ago almost. I don't see much difference here. I'm gonna tell you the truth. One's double distilled, one's triple distilled. I think the Paddy says aged 3 years somewhere on there. Inspired by the man himself. Yeah, aged for a minimum of 3 years. Imported and bottled by Sazerac Company in Kentucky. I forgot to put that. It's bottled in the United States. I guess they send it over in a big tanker, and can't look down. It's bottled here, which is not unusual. Okay, so I'm going to say this is the Paddy's, which is drier. I hope I'm right. It is. All right, 2 wins, 0 losses. All right, good starting the season off right, like the Saints, 2-0. Well, then they lost 6 in a row. Hope I don't do that. Wesley Estimer says, who else thinks they should get rid of daylight savings time? Me. It's not that inconvenient, but it seems unnecessary. It's totally unnecessary. My dad's been to Buckingham Palace. He said it was neat. I didn't get to go inside. I don't even know if they let you inside because it is a working office. Well, so is the White House. But well, it was after dark. If they would have had tours, it would be closed by that time. I didn't even see any guards. But believe me, I'm sure there's cameras on everybody around there. Try something stupid, you getting going straight to jail. And there's a big street right in front of it. Busy highway, almost like 2 lanes east, 2 lanes west. So you had to be careful crossing it. I mean, they were buzzing through there. They weren't slowing down. And then they're on the left side of the highway, which got me, or the avenue, which had me totally confused. I kept getting it backwards, like someone get run over here. And there's a big statue in front called the Queen Victoria statue. You know, she was the longest reigning queen of the British Empire and Empress of India, first Empress of India. She was on the throne from 18 years old, 1837 until she died of old age in 1901. But so that was a big statue, and that was lit up, and I took a photo of that. It was nice, you know. What is the difference between being double or triple distilled? Well, says Michael Ojeda. Well, double distilled means there's two different whiskeys blended together. A grain whiskey, which is probably 80% of it, column stilled corn liquor, just like the United States, corn spirits. But they age it 3 years over there. Here, they'll put it in raw. In the United States, they can take corn, distill it, and then immediately blend it without even aging it. You say, what? Yeah, well, that's allowed. Like you call it moonshine. In Canada, Ireland, in England, Scotland, because England doesn't really do distilling. There are some little craft distillers. They can't do that. They got to age it at least 3 years in oak. Doesn't have to be new oak. All right. Now, triple distilled, they'll take pot still, copper pot still. It's aged grain of some sort, barley, aged, distilled in a copper pot. Then the column still, that's the grain alcohol, corn. And then malted barley, single malt whiskey, all malt, you see. Like they have in Scotland, single malt whiskey. They have Irish single malt. Now they got American single malt, Canadian single malt. It's all barley malt at a single distillery. So they take those three whiskeys and they blend them together. All right. So they got three different whiskeys. They blend them together and age them, or they age them separately and then blend them together. Oh, however they want to do it, you see. Sometimes they'll filter them, then age them, or they'll age them, then filter them. It's all about how they want to construct it. As long as they follow the guidelines, it doesn't really matter. Hi there. This is excellent. Thank you, Ronnie S. Down in Florida. One of the moderators. Isn't Bud Light Platinum distilled 3 times? Well, it's not distilled. It's brewed. It's fermented. All right. So I prefer the Michael Collins. It's got a little more character, but I wouldn't say it's worth extra $4, but it might be worth extra $2. It's however you want to balance it. You know, in my case, I got both. So, yeah, but if you, in a pinch, I guess you could save money and get Paddy's. Good, reliable product. This one is sort of like a moot point because I don't think you're going to find it anyway, but you might find it. We found it. It's on the shelf still at international markets, so it's there. Triple filtered. Yeah, I think it might be triple filtered. They might filter the beer 3 times, something like that, to clean it up, but not distilled. All right, well, y'all take care, and then God willing, tomorrow we'll do another Irish whiskey taste challenge.